Now, with an example, how a typical bus operation takes place. Okay, so these steps indicate how a typical bus operation takes place to access a peripheral or a slave or a subordinate. Okay, the manager, which is typically a processor or also known as master, also known as initiators, selects one peripheral or maybe one register. How it selects is by giving the address to the address bus. So it gives the address to the address bus. Okay, so it gives the address to the address bus, and it's based upon that a peripheral is selected. At the same time, it sets the control signal. Control signal indicates what kind of operation you are doing, such as whether you're doing read operation, write operation, what is the size of the operation, maybe it's a burst mode, single transfer mode, all that information is there in the control. So basically, it also simultaneously sets the control bus to indicate what kind of operation, transfer size at the same time. So manager initiates, selects one of the peripheral. This is done by select giving the address to the address bus, putting that data on the address bus, and same time it sets the control signal to indicate what kind of operation it is doing, read, write, and size of the transfer. So that's how a typical bus operation initiates to access a peripheral. Now then, basically, that has been decided. The manager has selected one peripheral, giving address to the address bus, and at the same time, it has turned on the control signal, as in it has given sets the control signal and decides the read, write, and transfer size. Now then, manager waits. This processor, which is the manager, master, initiator, waits for the subordinate, for example, peripheral or a register to respond. So now it has given to the address bus data, and now it waits for the subordinate to respond. Now, once the subordinate is ready, once the peripheral is ready, once the slave is ready, okay, once the subordinate is ready, it sends back what was requested from him. So let's say typically a data is requested from a peripheral or memory. It sends back data on the data bus back to the processor. Also, at the same time, what it sets is it sets the ready signal on the control bus that I am ready, you take my data. Okay. So once it's done the operations which it was needed to do and it's ready to send the data, it sends back the requested data on the data bus and signals with the control bus that I am ready, you take my data. Now, finally, as in once the data has been ready, processor, manager, master reads the data. And let's say if it wants to start another communication cycle, it starts. Okay. So processor reads the data and then starts the next operation. Next operation is maybe it can be same. Maybe it wants to select another peripheral. Maybe it wants to select the same peripheral. So this whole operation is then repeated. So once processor, master, initiator reads the data, then it starts another operation. And this is a typical bus operation example where basically step one is master sets the address bus to select a peripheral. At the same time, it also sets the control bus to determine what kind of operation it is. Then it waits for subordinate. Once subordinate is ready, it sends the data on the data bus, and on the control bus, it says, I'm ready, you take my data. Then processor reads the data and starts the next operation. So these steps, one, two, three, can continue on repeating for different slaves or maybe for same slave and so on. So this is how a typical bus operation.